Has requested the federal government to activate up to 1,000 members of the National Guard to combat crime across the state, specifically naming Baton Rouge as one of its target cities. The other cities he claims need help dealing with elevated crime rates are Shreveport and New Orleans. In the letter addressed to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, he mentions that he wants the deployments to be similar to the ones that we've seen in Washington, D.C. and in Tennessee. Landry also wants the troops to stay deployed for 1 year.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry asked for National Guard deployments to New Orleans and other cities, saying his state needs help fighting crime. The Republican governor asked for up to 1,000 troops through the fiscal year 2026 in a letter he sent to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Landry also said there's been elevated violent crime rates in cities like Baton Rouge and New Orleans, as well as shortages in local law enforcement. But preliminary data from the city police department shows crime in both those cities is actually seeing a steep drop this year.
Goddamn, get off my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Goddamn, get off my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here, and yes sir, we're back with another one, man. We got some updating news going on in Louisiana. Now we're going to be reacting to Tim Pool and him covering the story of Louisiana's governor requesting over 1,000 National Guard troops to fight violent crime in out the state of Louisiana. Now, I am a big component of, yes, we need to fix up these streets. We need to fix up crime. We should not be dealing with this in 2025. I mean, if crime's going to be happening, it needs to be so small to where, like, people don't even know that that's even going on. But the fact that we have homicides going on almost on a daily basis, we have gang shootings going on almost on a daily basis, we have teens being murdered almost on a daily basis, to gun violence and stuff like that. Like, it needs to stop. These cities, these states need to get control of their cities, and you know, if they need to have the National Guard come through, then that's what needs to be happening. And I don't see how people can even like have a super big gripe over Chicago when we know Chicago is one of the biggest crime-ridden cities in America. I don't understand the protests and the fighting against that when they're just trying to clean up the city. That's it. But we have people fighting against this, and we're going to see people fight against this in Louisiana. We already have some people in the leadership in Louisiana's government already fighting against this, saying that, you know, this is unnecessary. They need to do more, you know, spending more money into, you know, policies and reforming instead of trying to, you know, put troops on the ground. But we're going to go ahead and get into this Tim Pool video and react to what he has to say to all this. So let's get into it. Let's go.
Louisiana is requesting 1,000 National Guard troops to fight violent crime across the state. And I say, let's go. The funny thing is, if you went back 10 years and said, Tim, 10 years from now, you'll be cheering on federal law enforcement and National Guard deploying across the country to stop crime, I'd be like, what? Because even a few years ago, we were very resistant to the idea of national policing, and still are. And then something happened. And, you know, in all honesty, it wasn't just the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Crime has been expanding over the past several years as Democrats let this happen. You have the murder of Irina Zarutska. You have many more young women being brutally murdered from illegal immigrants and other crime. And that is not to say that crime is necessarily up in every facet. There are a variety of reasons we see certain crimes go down. I often bring up cell phones being a good point. With cell phones, you're more likely to get emergency services to you more quickly, meaning homicides appear to go down. Only because you survived doesn't mean that getting stabbed by a violent criminal has stopped or gone down either. But what we've seen across the country is these lax laws on shoplifting. We have seen this result in major fights, conflicts, and an escalation of violence in these key areas. And we have seen these far left DAs releasing criminals onto our streets. We have seen far leftists claim that their democracy is under threat from our republic. It's kind of crazy that we've got this bifurcation in American society, but I think you all understand it, especially if you've been watching my show. But where are we right now? With the killing of Irina Zarutska, which shocked the nation, and then shortly after that, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it is becoming more apparent that there, to people in this country, there is an acute wave of violence that we are seeing. Again, they can cite every stat they want.
And like I said, it's not to say that we haven't been seeing this for over a long period of time. Like I said, I think this goes back even back like in like 2013, like before. I mean, you could even say back in the Obama days, like crime was slowly starting to like escalate. And then once Trump got in office, crime steadied, but also was still on a incline. You know what I'm saying? With the release of phones and technology and stuff like that, a lot of things have been more have been able to be captured more, and people have been able to show what's actually going on in the world, and it's been live broadcast. Same way with George Floyd's death, it was live. People had their phones out recording the whole situation going on. Same way with Irina Zarinsky, I think it's her name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but the girl who died on the trainway. There's videos of that, of her just being stabbed viciously by her assailant, and no one's doing nothing about it. No one's around her. Everyone's on their phones just looking down, and it's awful. It's terrible. And then the same way with Charlie Kirk, people were filming Charlie Kirk, and he ends up getting taken out live on his whole broadcast thing, what I'm saying, for everyone to see. What I'm saying? Utah isn't that far away from me. Like, all this stuff, a lot of areas aren't far away from me. So it's like, I feel like a lot of this stuff could happen to any of us, and that's why it's like, yeah, we need to crack down on this crime 100%, and do whatever it takes.
But what we are seeing is very real, and we experience it. People who here's a story that you guys may have missed. It's going viral again. Female Uber driver begging for her life. A black man in the back seat put a bullet in her head. Why? These things have to stop. Let me tell you like this. Being from Chicago, not from Louisiana. Now Memphis is going to get federal law enforcement as well. Being from Chicago, seeing these gangs, seeing how they operate, I've been shot at, I've been mugged. Fortunately, I was poor, so they didn't get anything from me when they tried to mug me. And if you had federal law enforcement or National Guard, we'd have been happy. We'd have been happy. What we don't want is like FPS, federal police, taking everything over in a long-term sense. And that may be what plays out, because we're in some kind of war. There are two distinct worldviews here: the multicultural democracy left and the constitutional republic right. And unfortunately for us, the institutions of these Democrat-controlled areas are at odds with our country. We know they're going to release criminals. We know they're going to hunt down conservatives. We know they're going to falsely arrest political leaders. They put Trump in jail. They tried to imprison him. They still are. It's only on hold because he's president. They went after his lawyers. We know where this is going. And so, talking with some of these more libertarian types, I was talking to Luke Rutkowski on IRL last night. Here we are sitting here saying, extenuating circumstances, I suppose. We recognize that when a great threat emerges, you need commensurate force. Now we're talking about the National Guard going in and shutting these things down. And for me, I'll tell you this. It's not just about the violent far left riots, which have been expanding and have not stopped for the past, 20 years? Remember at the RNC, I think it was like 2008, those dudes were arrested with Molotov cocktails? And the left is all angry and all butthurt about it. Well, don't bring Molotov cocktails. I've seen some cops do questionable things too. Don't get me wrong. But where we're at right now is, especially over the past 10 years, these cells, these violent Antifa cells, have been expanding. They have legal frameworks. They exploit our laws. Enough. I think of Abraham Lincoln. I've said it of Donald Trump. At a certain point, we say, okay, we need something to put a stop to this violent crime. I can't speak for Louisiana. Haven't been all that much in the news necessarily outside of their crime.
If anyone's invested into like any music or whatsoever, if you listen to NBA YoungBoy, or you're even involved in like any of the rap culture, I did like a really big deep dive at one point into the whole rap culture and see what's really like, how is this beef so big? And like, I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is under the radar of a lot of higher ups, or maybe they know about it. I don't know. Maybe they let it happen. But for over a decade, there's been just constant gang wars going on through Louisiana, Chicago, California, Atlanta. Like Young Thug not so long ago got put in that RICO case. Who was that one guy? YFN Lucci just got let out of, being indicted on a RICO case. Like, there's so much gang violence going on, bro. There's so much violence in period. That's why I would never go live in Louisiana, nor Chicago, nor Atlanta. None of these places that I know where, Crips or Bloods are heavily populated at. I'm good And as that is also going down, you also have the Louisiana governor over there who's also setting up a detention facility for ICE immigrants, for illegal immigrants. The illegal immigrants, they're under temporary protected status, so they were able to come into the country legally, legally, and we're able to get in on all the benefits and all the things that us Americans that we work really hard for to put into our communities, into our country, so that way we're able to help the people, the misfortunate Americans in our country. We try to help those people, but the immigrants came over, they got a piece of the pie. So unfortunately, we got to send them all back home. But we're going to go ahead and watch this little Fox News clip of them talking about the whole detention facility camp and see how crazy it looks in there. Let's see.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow, member of the House Appropriations Committee, is now joining us live. Congresswoman, thank you so much. I just wanted to get your first reaction to the fact that we have the Louisiana lockup now open in that Angola prison. What do you make of it? I know there's 416 beds. What can you tell us?
Well, I am so proud that Louisiana is leading the way to crack down on illegal immigration. Here in Louisiana, we are honored to help President Trump fulfill his promises to keep America safe. As a mom who has two small children at home, I don't think there's any parent in America who isn't breathing a sigh of relief that we are taking the worst of the worst criminals off the street. I want my children to be able to play in the neighborhoods after school and not be fearful that they will be picking up by terrible criminals roaming our streets. So I could not be prouder that Louisiana is playing our part. We secured $45 billion in the big, beautiful bill to be able to create these detention centers here in Louisiana. In my district, Angola Prison has been operating for over a century now. We know how to do this. We are going to make sure that the worst of these criminals, over 400 beds, will be allotted so that we can detain them here and then get them back to their countries of origin, so we don't have to worry about our children playing in the streets anymore, or God forbid, our daughters jogging across a college campus. These are just our worst nightmares as parents. And so I'm proud that Louisiana is playing its part. We have a wonderful relationship with the president. Our governor, Jeff Landry, Camp 57 was named in his honor. So I'm tickled that we are doing the best job that we can here in Louisiana to make sure our moms and dads feel safe when we go to bed at night.
Congresswoman, is Louisiana going to open itself up to more detention centers?
Yes, if there's a need, absolutely. Louisiana is here to serve. We are here to serve the pleasure of the president and make sure that we are doing our part to make sure these criminals are detained and then sent back to their countries of origin.
So you mentioned your governor, Jeff Landry. He is a Republican, and he has said, you know what, President Trump, let's bring those National Guard troops into New Orleans. Let's bring them into Louisiana to help fight crime. The president on Friday said that that was going to happen. But you have New Orleans mayoral candidates there and others who are saying we don't need it. They cite the fact that the homicide rate is on track to being the lowest that they've seen since the 1970s. So do you think that National Guard troops should be sent to New Orleans? And are you ready for the potential fight with leaders there?
I share with Governor Landry's enthusiasm to bring them to New Orleans. Far too many of my own family members and friends have left New Orleans in fear because of the crime and the violence. It is no place to be able to even raise children right now. And that is such a shame, Brian, because New Orleans is an incredible city. The Big Easy is full of culture and life and music and food. Just walking up and down its streets during the Super Bowl, I was astounded about how beautiful the city is. And Governor Landry did an incredible job of making sure that there was no crime during the Super Bowl. To imagine having that every single day, I think that the sky is the limit for New Orleans and all the potential that it holds. So again, parents should never have to worry about crime on the streets. And if that means bringing the National Guard in, I am all for it and would gladly have that debate with anybody in a potential leadership role in the city.
Great job by her by explaining her position and on why she supports Trump's agenda and why the governor also supports Trump's agenda. Because, like I said, I think these cities do need to crack down on their crime. They need to make these cities safer and habitable, so people can like actually, you know, live their lives and, you know, have children if they want to have children, go shopping if they want to go shopping, be able to walk down the street without being in fear for your life. And, you know, that's not just to say the illegal immigrants are causing that, but I'm also saying like the criminals in general. And because I want to go see some of these like really nice cities. I've never been to California and I want to go see it, you know what I'm saying? But all the stories that I've heard of California, I'm like, hell no, I don't want to go down there. That sounds terrible. And Louisiana too. Like, I want to see Louisiana. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. And salute to the governor, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys stopping by and supporting the video. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.